All right, we begin with breaking news. Live right here at the top at 10 o'clock. Buffalo police are at the scene of a shooting that appears to be fatal. According to the Buffalo Police Department, one man was shot near Brooklyn Street and Winslow Avenue. A photographer at the scene says there is one shooting victim that appears to be dead. No first responders are attending to the body. We do say hello again, everyone. Thanks for watching Spectrum News. I'm Casey Bortnick. We'll bring you more information on that shooting as it becomes available. But first, let's get to the rest of the day's stories. And before we get to those stories, let's start with the weather. Todd Kirkman joining us now live from the Weather Center. And Todd, just a cold and blustery day during my dinner break. That wind just hits you in the face. Feels like a sign of things to come.
Yeah, it's definitely a sign of things to come, Casey. I hope you got that heavy coat out of your whatever the closet or wherever you might keep it, because I think there's going to be some opportunities here that you're going to need it as we get through the next few days. It's already cold down in Olean. Look at that, 39, 41 at Jamestown, 39 at Dansville. Trunk is the word I was trying to think of. 47 in Buffalo and 52 at Niagara Falls. Temperatures tonight are going to be heading down to the 40s. We might see them climb a little bit tomorrow, but during the afternoon they're going to drop. Cold on Thursday, Friday close to average but windy, and then colder air comes in yet for Sunday. Some areas will probably hold in the upper 30s. Now out the door tomorrow, grab the umbrella. Obviously you need the jacket. There are going to be some scattered showers around. It's not going to be raining steadily all day long. It'll be that kind of lake effect pattern where you have showers mixed with intervals of sun, winds gusting at times close to 40 miles per hour. So just kind of a sign of things to come, as you mentioned off the top there, Casey.
Settle in, why don't we? And Todd, don't worry, I've got a trunk. I've got an upstairs closet. I got a downstairs closet. I got a basement full of clothes. I'm basically a pack rat, I think.
Yeah, I try and get rid of that stuff. I don't like to hang on to it, but some things, you know, there's some sentimental value to them, so obviously hang on to those things.
Scarves, hats, we have to have it all here in Western New York. All right, Todd Kirkman live at the Weather Center. Todd, we appreciate the updates. TONAWANDA Coke has filed for bankruptcy, and now the company says it may not be able to make its final $2 million community service payment for its 2013 criminal conviction. Spectrum News reporter Alex Haight has been covering the story for some time for us. He continues to follow it closely. Joins us now from our newsroom with the very latest on what's happening now. Alex?
Well, Casey, in a court filing on Monday, attorneys for the company said that they tried to secure the funds ahead of last week's deadline, but were unsuccessful. U.S. Attorney's Office previously filed for TONAWANDA Coke to disclose all of its financial information so the government could determine a way to collect the payment. Tuesday, a district court judge gave TONAWANDA Coke an extension to release that data, citing the company's bankruptcy filing and the continuing shutdown of the plant. That is now due October 24th. He did not, however, grant an extension for the payment. It remains past due. As part of TONAWANDA Coke's bankruptcy filing, the company was required to show a list of 20 companies it owes the most money to. Its largest debt is to Duval Safety Equipment in Buffalo, listed at more than $1 million. Many others are between $20,000 and $40,000. TONAWANDA Coke identified it owes money to 100 to 200 creditors. However, according to the filing, after any administrative expenses are paid, no funds will be available to pay its debts. In a warn notice filed with the State Department of Labor, 129 employees are affected. They will all be laid off by October 27th. Meanwhile, the DEC announced Tuesday that all of TONAWANDA Coke's ovens have been fully emptied, marking the end of the facility's Coke production. They say the next step is purging the gas lines as well as cooling the battery ovens. Reporting in the newsroom, Alex Haight, Spectrum News.
The deadliest summer in a decade in Buffalo, and the year is not even out yet. And there are already as many or more homicides in 2018 than any of the last 4 years. As we continue to look at possible solutions, we sat down for a one-on-one interview with the head of the Buffalo office of the Drug Enforcement Agency. Ed Orgon took over in February, just before the summer's bloodshed. He says the violence and drugs go hand in hand, and the problem here is similar to his experience in Detroit. But he says Buffalo is equipped to handle the issue and is making progress. He says the coordination between federal, state, and local partners here in Western New York is almost unprecedented.
We just need to just focus on the investigations and keep hammering home and working hard. We just need to keep on it and keep working with our partners, federal, state, and local partners.
While the violence might be concentrated in the Queen City, Oregon says no area is immune to the flow of drugs. In fact, last year, Buffalo and the suburbs had the same number of overdose deaths. Tip from the public led Buffalo police on a drug raid on Monday, yet officers found more than they bargained for. Officers recovered large quantities of drugs and a handgun from a home on Plymouth Street on Monday night. They also found close to 90 stolen bikes in the basement as well. 2 males living in the home, 124, the other 33, have been charged. Neighbors say they saw it all unfold as 2 large flatbed trucks hauled the bikes away.
There was a mild crowd around, but it wasn't anything too unordinary. I mean, if you see a bunch of bikes on a lawn, people are going to be like, oh, what's going on over there? I've heard of people. Bike
owners are also advised to register their bike and get heavier locks as well. Nearly a dead heat in the race for New York's 27th congressional district seat. That's according to an exclusive poll from Spectrum News and Siena College Research Institute. If the election were held today, 46% of likely voters would choose Republican incumbent Chris Collins. 43% would vote for his Democrat challenger Nate McMurray. Siena College Research Institute, in partnership with Spectrum News, polled 490 people. It found the race is basically a toss-up at this point, with Collins' advantage falling well within the margin for error, 4.7% margin for error. Our pollster says it appears voters in the district are struggling to balance their Republican leanings and Collins' legal woes. Have a more detailed breakdown of the poll coming up in our next half hour. A Spectrum News Siena College poll shows a very tight race in New York's 27th congressional district, once thought to be a very safe Republican district. Capital Tonight's Ryan Whalen says neither party seems to be very surprised, but their opinions differ on what the data ultimately means.
With 3 weeks until Election Day, New York's 27th congressional district is a statistical toss-up.
It just verifies what we've been saying, that this is going to be a close race and that we are tons of momentum going our way.
Democrat Nate McMurray is down 3 points to incumbent Republican Chris Collins and well within the 4.7% margin of error, according to a new Spectrum News Siena poll. It's consistent with the candidate's internal polling, which had the race dead even. But McMurray says the independent poll is crucial nonetheless.
They were saying it's a lie, it's false. When the reality is they knew. They're the ones who keep lying, not us. And they knew the poll was this tight. They know the race is this tight. That's why they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on these attack ads.
Collins, who is facing federal charges related to insider trading, would not do an interview. But in a statement, his campaign says, quote, "It's not a surprise that this race is close. Voters have a clear choice between an avowed progressive who is open to impeaching President Trump or a Trump Republican who will stand with the president and continue delivering for working families in New York 27.
I think given the coverage of Chris Collins, the fact that Nate's not up at this point probably shows that this district's probably not winnable for them.
But Democrats see it differently. They say they've been at a disadvantage with Collins' campaign ads airing for several weeks. McMurray's first commercial started this week.
Now that Nate McMurray is on the air, touting his record as a supervisor of a conservative town, showing people that there is an alternative, somebody that can deliver for New York 27, Chris Collins is virtually neutered right now.
McMurray says he raised most of his more than $500,000 this quarter after the Collins indictment. The party is predicting the new polling data will bring in more outside help from the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee and others.
I think what you're going to see now is a lot more national attention, a lot more from groups that may have not looked at this race as a toss-up and can make a difference in it now.
For a long time, you saw them, we were completely off the radar. So I think you're going to see more support. But what I'll say to you right now is we're not going to change.
Ryan Whalen, Spectrum News.
All seats on the Buffalo Board of Education are up for re-election in 2019. A Buffalo School District parent, Larry Scott, got his campaign for the board started on Tuesday. Scott is the co-founder of the Buffalo Parent Teacher Organization. He says Buffalo schools are on the rise, but there's much more that needs to be done.
A central registration office that is accessible, transparent, and responsive to the needs of parents, that provides timely determinations, placement determinations, inclusive schools that are safe for our students and accepting, that educate the whole child, including social emotional wellness.
There are 9 seats on the Buffalo Board of Education. including 6 district and 3 at-large positions.
A lot of chilly air to deal with over the next 7 days. Notice at the bottom, our average high for this point of October is close to 60 degrees. Only day we got coming up like that is going to be Friday. Not a real pleasant day. I think it'll be bright, so it'll be pretty in that regard, but it's still going to be rather windy. Next 2 days, nowhere near 60 degrees. Wednesday, temps will be falling afternoon. We're going to have showers around, some intervals of sun, and even some wet snow in the mix, interior sections of the southern tier and ski country as we head towards the evening. So with that in mind, grab the umbrella and the jacket, of course, on your way out the door first thing in the morning. Those showers picking up already overnight, some lake effect off of Lake Erie. Some locally heavy downpours possible heading into Wednesday morning with some thunder and lightning, and I'll be surprised if there are a couple of water spouts out on Lake Erie, even up on Lake Ontario. Notice a lot of dry weather, Buffalo metro area, Niagara Falls, but even in these areas there'll be a few showers drifting through at times. Getting towards the evening, got some of that wet snow mixed in, Salamanca over to Bennington, Java, Attica, and down towards Wellsville. Some of these areas down here may pick up a coating on some of the grassy surfaces as we head through Wednesday night. By Thursday morning, all that really diminishes, and while a stray light shower flurry will be possible as we head through Thursday, expect most of the day to be dry and bright. 40s overnight, Buffalo, Niagara Falls, Ransomville, Newfane, Somerset, and temperatures in the 40s for much of Wednesday. They rise just a little early, but then they fall afternoon, so much so that down in the southern tier, there'll be some areas down in the upper 30s by 6 p.m. A look at the 7-day forecast is coming up in less than 10 minutes.
All right, some news on Josh Allen. It is not that good. Joining me now with more on that and a preview of sports is the K-Man.
Okay, Casey, so reports coming out all afternoon on Tuesday that Allen won't be playing against the Colts.
Yep.
Bills say he's week to week. Bills will be back on the practice field on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So more to come on this, but yeah, Josh Allen not set to play against the Colts at this point. Who the quarterback will be remains up in the air. Nathan Peterman, I don't know about that one. Or maybe Derek Anderson. We got that and more coming up next in sports.